Shalom, this is Levi Shore. Welcome back to Sweet and Good Torah. We are going to see something tonight so amazing, so astounding. The Vilna Gaon, he says that every pasuk, every verse in the Torah equates to 1 year of world history. And we're going to see something at first that is so hair-raising, so bone-chilling, scary. We're going to take a look at which pasukim, which verses would relate to the Holocaust. But then your hearts will soar as you see the process of the Gula, the redemption begin. And we're going to see how that's coming into our days. And we should soon see the coming of Mashiach. Stay around. You will not regret it. You're going to see and learn something incredible tonight. All right, so let's go here. This is our beginning point. So we're in Parsha, I believe it's Parsha Nitzavim. And we're going to take a look at the year that would equate to the year of 1938. So it would be the Hebrew year 5698. And this was the year on November 9th, the Kristallnacht began. It's the 29th chapter of Deuteronomy. It's the 22nd verse. And this is where the Nazis, Yamak Shemam, began their attack on Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass. And this is the year that the Holocaust really started to begin. And we'll see something chilling here. It says, Gafris vamelach. It says that there's sulfur and salt. Sarefa chol artsa. And the whole land is on fire. Lo sizara. Nothing will be planted. Velo tzatzmiach. And nothing will grow. Velo yaleva koesev. And no grass will grow up in it. Kimach pechas Sodom v'Amorah. And it will be like the overturning of Sodom and Gomorrah. Adma u'Tzavoyim. And these are the two of there was 5 cities altogether, and these are 2 other cities of Adma and Tzavoyim. Asher hafach Hashem bi'apo uvachamaso. That Hashem overturned in his anger, in his great anger and wrath. This is so scary. This is the year of Kristallnacht. This is 1938. Let's see what the Torah says next. The Amru Kol Hagoyim, and all the nations will say, excuse me, Al me asa Hashem, kacha la'aretz hazos. Why? Why did Hashem do this to this land? Me chore ha'af hagadol hazeh. And what is this great anger, this great wrath? 1939. Let's go to 1940. V'amru al asher azvu es bris Hashem, Elokei avosam. And this is so scary. And if you ever want to know the reason for the Holocaust and how, chas v'shalom, we could avoid a second Holocaust, which the anti-Semites are rising up and threatening us with a new Holocaust, the rapture, the global jihad, because it says here in the Torah, because they forsook, they despised in a sense, chas v'shalom, the bris, the covenant of Hashem, the God of their fathers. And unfortunately, we saw this with the German Jews, and it's like another time, another world, where they said they didn't want Jerusalem, chas v'shalom. Germany was their new home. And unimaginable. They didn't want to speak Lashon HaKodesh. They only wouldn't speak German. Could you even imagine? We can't even imagine it now. And there was a horrible feast on Yom Kippur where they served pork. And it's like a different world. Asher karas imam v'hotzio osam me'eretz Misraim. Hashem made this covenant with us when he took us out from the land of Egypt. 1940. 1941. V'yehu v'ya'avdu Elohim achirim. And we went and we served other gods. Now, who are these other gods? Rabbi Elchanan Wasserman, he said in his Sefer, the Ikvos de Mashiach, the footsteps of Mashiach, he said something startling. What is the new Avodah Zarah? What is the new idol worship? And he says it's the isms. And as the isms of the 20th century, people would be so pulled into capitalism, to communism, to conservatism, to liberalism, and it's hard for people to say but Zionism also. These secular political movements and people gave money to them. They gave their blood, their sweat, their tears, and Chas v'shalom, sometimes they offered their lives to these other gods, the new gods, the isms. Vayish tachavu lehem, and they bowed down to Elohim, these gods, these false gods, these avodah zarah. Asher lo yadaum, they didn't know them. These were new, these were invented, new gods for the 20th century. V'lo chalak lachem, and these were not a portion of Hashem in them. So scary. So then let's see. So then 26, I lost track of the years. I think we're up to 1942. So this would be the Hebrew year 5702, and this would be 1942. Vayichar af Hashem ba'aretz hahi. And Hashem, great anger burned in the land, in this land. Lahavi alecha, to bring upon it, as kol haklala hakasuva b'sefer hazeh, all the curses that are written in this book. And in this parsha, in the parsha before Kisavo, I believe, we see the 98 curses. And this is letting us know that some, or I mean, the Holocaust may have been all the horrible curses were brought upon the Jewish people that were written in the Torah. All the curses in those horrible years. And then 1943, Vayish Teim Hashem me'al ad masam. And Hashem uprooted them from their soil, ba'af, in anger, uvechema, and fury, uvekesav gadol, and great wrath. And if you notice this language very carefully, this, Chas v'shalom, is the language that Hashem punished the Egyptians with. When we were miraculously taken out in the Yetziat Mitzrayim and the Exodus from Egypt, Hashem uses these same terms of anger, and now this was directed at us during this horrible Holocaust, the Shoah. V'yash lichem el eretz acheres kayom hazeh. And they were thrown, they were cast out to another land, as is still today. And then notice that the Lamed here is very big. It's a great secret in this Lamed, but we're not going to go into it today. Sorry, we have to leave a little suspense and mystery for the future. And now the 28th verse. This is 5704, 1944. This was FDR. This was Franklin Delano Roosevelt's fourth term, 1944. And I believe this may have been the year of D-Day, but the Allies were coming to start invading and defeat the Nazis. Yamach Shemam. And here we're going to see a great mystery. Hanis taros lahashem Elokeinu. And all these things are hidden to Hashem our God. V'haniglos lanu v'ulivanenu. And they're going to be revealed to us and to our children, ad olam, until forever, lasots, as kol divrei Torah hazos, that all the words of this Torah. Now, I think Hashem gave me this great mystery today, and it's startling. So in the Torah, in the Sefer Torah, there's these dots that appear upon the words. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me just double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 11 dots here. Now, you know the expression connect the dots? So we've seen dots very recently in Parsha Vayishlach. And when Esav comes, it says Esav kisses, he kisses Yaakov. But then the Mefarshim tell us, the commentators tell us that he was really biting Yaakov. And it's the bite of Esav. It's all the horrible language of the anti-Semites, the hatred, trying to kill us or get other people, to attack us and kill us. But if we connect the dots from Parsha Vayishlach to the dots here, and we add the 7 to the 11, we see something incredible. We get 18. And 18 is the gematria of chai, of life. And then we begin to see something very beautiful starting to emerge from this terror and this horror. That all of this had been for life. All of this had been to return the Eitz Chaim, the tree of life, to the Jewish people forever, ad olam, to fulfill, to do all the words of the Torah. And now, 1945. V'haya chi yavo'u alecha kol hadavarim ha'elech habracha v'haklala. How chilling is that? And it will be when all the blessings and the curses come upon you. And we saw it for those years from 1932 to 1945. Asher Nasati Lefaneka. The Hashem saying that I put these things before you, the blessings and the curses. Why? The Hashevosa El Vavecha, to return them to your heart. B'chol Hagoyim Asher Hadichacha Hashem Elokecha Shema. To all that you are among all the nations that Hashem has exiled you to there, and He banished you there, 1945. And now, 1946. We're going to see something incredible. Vishavta ad Hashem Elokecha. Return to Hashem your God. It's the time now. Teshuvah has begun. Not this concept of Shalom turning away from Hashem, but now is a new Jewish people reborn that are turning back to Hashem. And it's a long process. It's been slowly unfolding. V'shamaita b'kolo. Listen to my voice. And Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, he talked to Mashiach, and Mashiach says, I'll come today if you listen to Kolo, if you listen to his voice, if you listen to Hashem's voice. And it started in 1946. Just like I've commanded you today, Ata uvanecha, you and your son, your children, b'kol levavcha, with all your heart, ub'kol nafsheka, with all your soul. So I'm going to tell you something incredible. So first thing, we've been waiting for this amazing nova star of this white dwarf in the constellation of Corona Borealis, the northern crown. And when was the last time that Hashem turned this nova star on? In 1946. And this nova star has appeared almost every time, about 80 years. And what's 80 years from 1946? You got it, folks. 2026. It gets better. It gets more incredible. So the Zohar, it says that on the 25th day of the 6th month, in the 6th hour, I believe, that this star is going to appear in the sky. And it says that this star is what was mentioned in the prophecy to Bilam, that a star will shoot out from Yaakov. And it's incredible. In this constellation of the Northern Crown, the Corona Borealis, there's a white dwarf. And this white dwarf is going to, is going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's going to overtake the red giant of Edom. And the Zohar says on that day, the three walls of the palace in Rome, which I believe are the three walls of the Vatican, are going to fall, and the leader of the city will die. Now, why would the three walls fall down? Because the Roman soldiers, they came on Tisha B'Av, on the 9th of Av, and they knocked down the three walls of the Beis HaMikdash, of the temple, and they only left one wall standing, the western wall. So then, midah keneged midah, measure for measure, Hashem is going to knock down on that day the three walls. So I kept calculating it, and I started, what's the beginning of the months? It's Nisan. And if you count the 6 months from Nisan, what do you get? You get to the 25th of Elul. And it's on Shabbos. And then it hit me, wait a second. We could also count from Tishrei. What if we counted from Tishrei? And if we count from Tishrei, the 6th month takes us to the 25th of Adar. On the year that I say is going to be like Purim, on the 25th of Adar. And what's the 25th of Adar this year? I believe it's going to be a Shabbos. So I had a student of mine, Tuvia, last year. He said something very incredible. So I didn't understand. I was like, how can it be? If the 25th of Elul, a couple of years ago was on Shabbos, how could it be in Rome that it would be on the 6th day, that it would be on a Friday? And he said something really incredible. He said, yes, but Shabbos comes into Jerusalem first. So it will still be Friday when it's Shabbos in Israel. When it's Shabbos in Jerusalem, it'll still be the 6th day, Friday, Erev Shabbos, in Rome, when the star will appear in the sky. So I don't know. I can't guarantee you, but I think we are in the midst of very, very special times. Let's go on a little bit further to 1947. Okay, so then, V'shav Hashem Elokecha es shavusecha. And then Hashem is going to begin to return your the ones that were drawn away, right? Return my wayward sons. V'ri chamecha, and Hashem is going to have mercy and compassion on you. V'shav the kibetzecha, and Hashem, you're going to return. Hashem's going to return you, and He's going to gather you. Mikol ha'amim asher hefitzecha Hashem Elokeka shama, and Hashem's going to gather you from all the nations which He scattered you, which He dispersed you to there. In 1947, what started happening? Jews started to return to Eretz Yisrael. So let's go a little bit further. So, im yeh nadachacha biksei hashemayim, even if all the exiles are to the ends of the heavens, misham yikabetza. This is 1948. Hashem will gather you. Hashem Elokeka misham. Hashem, your God, will gather you from there. Yikachecha. So the process began. All right, so what does it all mean? There's an incredible sefer by the Ramchal, Ma'amar HaGeula, and he speaks of something incredible. He speaks of that there's these windows, the chalonos, and the Sifrei Kabbalah say these windows are the sephiros, and Hashem sends His infinite light, the Or Ein Sof, through these sephiros, and this brings the shefa, the good spiritual flow of kedusha, of holiness into the world. And we can bring this holiness into ourselves when we learn Torah and do the mitzvos. And we can bring Kedusha into the world. And then Bezrat Hashem, when we base a mikdash, we'll have a Kedusha generator, a Kedusha power plant that spreads, the temple in Jerusalem will spread holiness to the whole world. So he said something incredible. He said there's going to be a point in history where Hashem is going to shut the gate. Right, we're talking about the windows. All the windows and the gate, the Shar Shemayim, is going to shut. And it's going to be this great darkness in the world. But from when it shuts, then this gate is going to start open, and there's going to be more and more spiritual light, more and more of this infinite light. And we tap into this infinite light on Hanukkah, the 36 candles, the 36 Neiros, the 36 candles that we light on Hanukkah tap us back into the 36 hours of the infinite light in Gan Eden, in the Garden of Eden, the 12 hours of Erev Shabbos, and the 24 hours of the first Shabbos. And the gate is opening, and it was a slow process, and now I think we're almost there. 80 years later, and I think we're going to see this Nova Star, and Bezrat Hashem, I think we're going to see the coming of Mashiach very, very soon. And I think October the 7th, it was the very last defibrillator to the heart that we needed to get the Jewish people going. And we're returning to a state of Ish Echad Lev Echad, one man, one heart. When we stood in Mount Sinai and received the Torah and said, Nasa v'nishma, we will do and we will learn. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be perfectly smooth, and I think 2026 is going to be a crazy year. And I don't know, we'll see what happens on Xmas. I think the Pope, the American Pope, I think he's going to get bold. And we see America getting very, very bold. And then we do have an idea in our Masorah that Edom is going to conquer the world for 9 months. And that's going to be the beginning of the Chevlei Mashiach, the birth pangs of Mashiach. So I think we're going to see a lot, and everything's speeding up. But it all depends on us. This process of Teshuvah, return to Hashem, Hashem's Torah, and the mitzvos, it's a process that's been unfolding for the last 80 years. And millions of Jews have come back to the land of Israel like years before the Geula. And I think the Jewish people are waking up, and I think we're becoming one nation again. And it's going to be a special time. So we got to just, we got to get down to business. We got to be learning Torah, doing the mitzvahs, acts of gemilas chasadim, acts of kindness, and we should see some really special things ahead. Okay, let me know your comments. Let me know what you think. Please help me out. If you really liked it, please share the video. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff, as they say. And I hope to see you back again soon on Sweet and Good Torah. All the best.